Hi, Miss McGill. Thank you for joining me today on our coaching session number two.
Hi, excuse me. How are
Bless you.
you?
Good, good, good. So today's coaching session will be based on my research that I have compiled for you based on your area of concern. So I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen.
Mhm.
Let's see. Okay, here we are. All right. Can you see my screen?
I can.
Awesome. I'm going to make it full screen. So today we're going to be focusing on using technology to differentiate instruction. This is a plan specifically for you and your need. I took all our information from the beginning and compiled it up into what we have here today. So our agenda, we're going to just cover a few things in this coaching session. One of the main things we're going to talk about is reviewing what we talked about in coaching session number one, kind of reviewing your what's it called, the Google form, reviewing all your ideas that you are experienced with and all the things that you have tried before. Then our second step is what is the purpose and the intended outcomes from these coaching sessions that we will participate in. The third step is using Diffit and its usage in the classroom. I That's something that I researched and found as a program that would be beneficial for you. And also understanding the research behind the differentiation instructional materials for this science classroom or your science classroom. A lot of this is all that I have compiled and understand. So we're gonna kind of go through all of this information to use. You also have a copy of this presentation so you can refer back to it when you are going through and actually using the software because our goal is to have you use the software. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's go ahead and recap and reflect. So we're going to talk about the survey results and your area concerns. Based on your survey results that you did with the Google form, you said that your main concern was to differentiate instruction for all your students, not just those students who are low, the high students, the low students, the students who would be in that little bubble area. You talked about how you used um different technology outcomes. You already have experience with technology through what's the thing that we just went through? COVID, excuse me. And how you had like a blended learning model kind of where some days you were virtual, some days you were in person, some days you were both. Do you want to expound on your survey results and your basically the area concern of differentiation?
Said expound on it.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Um,
Like, do you want to explain like the purpose behind you wanting to differentiate? Because you could have chose a variety of other strategies, but why differentiation specifically?
um, so that the goal is to meet them where they are, but I also want to be able to stretch them, um, and get them to use more critical thinking as
Mm,
well as like seeing that there's a problem and then being able to figure out how to solve that problem. But
mm,
before I can get them to that point, I would need to, like I was saying, meet them where they are. And with me meeting them where they are is gonna take more than it will take the differentiation of instruction only because of the varying levels that are within almost all of my classes that I
mm.
teach.
I love that. I love that. So, just reflecting, our end goal is critical thinking within the science concepts, using those strategies and structures or strategies and practices in place to allow for critical thinking. But before that, we have to differentiate the learning for each individual learner for all your classes, correct? I love that. I love that. So you talked about on the survey some things that you have already tried, what worked and didn't work. Like, you want to explain like how did you try those things? I know you said you used something called like Chat GPT and then you use a lot of your LMSs, which is like Canvas and Google and all that good stuff. You want to talk about a little bit of that?
Sure. So, usually when I'm using ChatGPT, if there is, sometimes I can take like a reading excerpt, and that's one of the things. Like, I have one class in particular where, um, I'm in sixth grade, so I have this one class, and I have a range based on, their map testing and map scores. I'm teaching students reading on about a third grade level to
Mm.
students who are on grade level. So, when it comes to even them using the actual sixth grade workbook, it
Mm.
can be difficult because, like I said, the ones that are on like third grade level, the comprehension is just not there. And sometimes I can tell, and I know that their peers probably can tell also. So, what I would do if there's something that I needed them to get out of their like workbook, or if there was like a worksheet or something that I found online that was on like sixth grade level, I would place it, kind of like put it in there and ask it in Chat GPT, put it in there and then ask it to like put it on a third grade level. And
Mm.
then with that, using the LMS, I can assign specific things to those particular students, where they would feel a little more comfortable, I feel like, with the information. But then the downside to that, it's like kind of the kids knowing, like, oh, her work is different from mine. Not like, I don't know if they take it in the wrong way, but I know I had some mixed feelings about it.
Yes.
So, because you don't want. I know for me, I'm out of school a long time, but like you don't want to like feel like, oh, this group of kids is like on this particular
Exactly.
island, and then you
Yeah.
got the other crew over here. So, um, I feel like that's honestly like one of the bigger things. Like, I can differentiate it, but then it's just like sometimes I feel like I'm just like missing the ball on some things. So, and then like some of the things that worked, obviously, if we're doing, and I'm gonna keep going back to that class because it's the one with the most varying levels of, like, reading levels.
Mhm.
So, most of the time when we do whole class activities, that works. However, I do run into like the few students that are in there that's on grade level. Obviously, they'll be like done. And then I'm like, oh, okay, we coming, or whatever. But then you also, um, in a way, oh, this is another thing. Sorry.
No, you're
Uh,
fine. You're fine.
side note. But what I try to do to help me, um, the handful of kids that I have that like understand and get what it is that I want them to do, usually I will kind of have them as like a teacher assistant,
Yeah.
and then I can get them to um, assist with what it is that we're doing. And that way I can still keep it like grade level and not feel like I'm planning for 3 to 4 different grade levels in one class.
Yes. Yes. And I remember you talking about that in your previous in our first session. And with the program, kind of jumping ahead a little bit, um, when it comes to identifying and creating a plan of action with the program that I found how you can literally it's a great program. I didn't realize about it or read about it until like after researching, where you can differentiate and not have to do multiple plans because it already differentiates for you. You can just pick the ones that you want. And I'm like, I need this for my students. Like, I definitely didn't realize that this program was out there. So I do want to kind of talk about the plan of action just a little bit before, because we're going to get in depth a little bit, but I'm going to kind of alter it based on what I have already written here, based on what you're telling me now, because I feel like it'll be a little bit more beneficial for you to do the plan of action that I just thought of. So the plan of action I'm thinking of is step one, getting, we already had this coaching session number one. Coaching session number one was the plan of action first. Step two would be using this program like whole class. Step three would be using the program individually to determine, okay, you have some low flyers, some middle ones, you have some high flyers, because it also provides those questions for those high flyers. And then step four is seeing how we could assess that. How can we assess if this program is actually working? Even to the point where helping not just you, but your entire professional learning community, if that's the case. So I do enjoy, or I do like the fact that we have some type of plan, and it kind of is altered, but we'll talk more about that. So I want you to think about your highest achieving students. What qualities does that student possess? Like that one student who's just boom, always
Um,
it works.
always on it, right? Um, I would say proactive,
Mhm.
um, let's see, always prepared. You have what else? Girl, it's after four. My brain is shutting down.
I understand.
Um, so what did I say? Oh, proactive,
Mhm.
comes to class, prepared, is let's see, diligent when it comes to like getting the work done and making sure that it is right. Um, what else? Mm, well-rounded.
Oh,
Mm,
that's a
that's
good
a
one.
good one. That's a good one.
Hmm.
I think that pretty much sums it up.
Okay. What about that lowest achieving student that doesn't really, has IEP, maybe has 504, always trying to catch up, just or sometimes don't even do that work.
Hmm. You want qualities?
Mm.
Mm. Okay. Um, trying to get the one student in mind. Let's
Mhm.
see.
Or a
Uh,
group of students if it's not just one.
okay. And their qualities. Mm.
Academic qualities.
Yes, yes, academics. Mm-hmm. Um, give me a second.
No, you're
But
fine.
still putting them together here in my mind. So I would say I think we're gonna probably go with a group.
Mhm.
Excuse me. And we're gonna say they are um great communicators.
Mhm.
Um, they are um I'm sorry, I keep saying
No, you're
trying to
fine.
be. So we have great communicator.
Mhm.
We have that they are hmm that's yeah.
Okay, it's okay to have one quality trait, perfectly fine. So kind of like bridging the two, do we see there's a big difference between the two?
Oh yeah.
Would you say it's harder to teach both at the same time rather than as a whole class?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so I'm kind of understanding a little bit more about, like, I just wanted you to kind of reflect on that. So when we're thinking about the new program that we're about to implement, how can we teach both of those students at the same time, essentially? Because you said you wanted to learn how to use differentiation to make it easier on you. Being a teacher is already hard. So we want to
Mhm.
make sure that we're using practices and things of that nature that makes it a little bit more easier.
Mhm.
So kind of talking about our goals and intended outcomes. So the goals of this is to basically identify the resource that will allow you to differentiate for all your students as a collective. The resources will allow you to easily access and assign activities to differentiate all of our students. To use these resources with your learning management system, because essentially I know that it is hard to grade individual work all the time. If you could just assign it with your learning management systems, it will make it more easier and effective for you as a teacher. This also includes using resources for the purpose of teaching science. You're a science teacher, as well as using practices and strategies conceptually to help for differentiating. Make sure that you are identifying those pedagogical practices to differentiate. So that's
Mhm.
kind of what our purpose is, our goals, and what we expect to see. So let's go ahead and talk. We are kind of talk about the plan. We already identified the areas of concerns and need that was to differentiate instructional practices for all of our students. The goal is to identify create a goal that identifies the how it relates to the coaching area or the content area, which of science, and then planning out these sessions to help you grow and understand, which we're already at number 2 here now. Number 2 and number 3 is where we're at kind of right now. Select the technological platform and resources. So this one specific platform that I have researched will assist with all of this. And then I want you to take it a step further by developing, maybe a lesson or a lesson plan where you're actually using the activities and strategies and assessments from the program. And then using the program, how can you differentiate the student's needs? And then finding some type of assessment on whether the platform is useful and necessary based on your area concern. So that's kind of what we are planning out now. We're kind of like in, I would say maybe 2 to 4, a little bit of the 5, just kind of figuring that out. So the platform I want to introduce to you is Diffit. Diffit for Teachers. It is currently in its beta programming. It is an AI-based program that allows teachers to use curriculum or their already generated curriculum in the system to customize on their content. It allows educators to either re-level text really, really easily. It provides you a whole vocabulary list of words that might be in the text, and it has a host of questions on different DOK levels. These in your school district, which is my school district too, we talk about using different DOK levels. It has higher level questions to advance that understanding for those high achieving students, and even have those lower DOK levels to help, guide those students who are a little lower achieving to move on to like DOK 1 and 2 rather than always staying in DOK 1. It is very customizable for you as the educator and the student. It also works well with Google Suites and assigning lessons to like that little Google. I know on Canvas they have like a Google LT3 where you can assign it in there and it makes a copy. It does well with that too. So let's go ahead and provide the opportunity for us to actually explore Diffit. So here we are. Can you still see my screen? Okay. So my plan, I would obviously let you, play with this. It is free for teachers. You'll get the free premium for teachers for like 90 days. And then after 90 days, you would have to pay for it. But there is a free software program available that you can use after the 90 days. So my first thing that I did was, okay, it says get right to it. This is what you automatically see when you type in diffit.com, or being that it's in the beta program is still trying to work out the kinks and stuff like that. And I was like, what is something that we have already taught? Sales, obviously. Everybody loves sales. It's probably the best thing or my favorite thing to teach, honestly. So I typed in sales. So type in sales. It's generating resources now that we are able to customize and edit. Oh, let me go back actually. It takes a little minute for it to like all process and progress all of the information. I should have you can also put specific grade levels. I did put 6th grade to specifically talk about sales for 6th grade. Right now it's showing 5th grade, so I'm going to put this to 6th grade. So regenerate my sixth grade activities. Customizable, very easy to use. I would say all you have to do is read through it, make sure it's something that you would want to use because it is an AI based, program. So you'll type in sixth grade and you have, now we know that in our school district we do phenomenon based. So I guess if you were to plan out your lesson plan, it would be boom, phenomenon based. What is this picture? What is this telling us? What do we see here? Can you identify anything in this picture? So then you can go down and have adaptable readings. I thought I was logged in. Okay, I'm not logged in, but I will log in. And you have a whole prompt of things that you actually, let me log in so you can see how we can differentiate that content. Okay. Is it in? Okay, there we go. Oh, okay. So we have the adaptable reading passage. If you need to edit it, you have to save it. And then you go to your saved documents on the side and you're able to change the reading level, which I will show you about that. You also have a summary. You have a summary about what this adaptable reading passage is literally about. It will also allow you to add things into it if you need to, or take away things if you want to. You have a summary of all that. And then you have these key vocabulary words, which I thought was a highlight of this all, because it also gives you examples that you can give to individual students without, you know, showing. So you can have this on the side and have it printed for a whole class, and then you can take away the examples or even give the examples to the students that are, need a little extra push or a little extra help. And then this would probably be my favorite part, is the type of questions that they have. You have different questions about the content up here, listed up here. And it's not just, oh, what is the special covering called of cells? We can already say that. That is, organelles. I'm sorry, membrane, excuse me. Wow, went over my head. The special covering of cells is called the membrane. But then you have higher questions says, okay, what are two main types of cells? Student can say, well, we just read something about amoebas. Is that a type of cell? No, you have to actually elaborate a little bit more. But not only those multiple choice questions, we have short-ended questions. What are two main types of cells mentioned in the text? What is the function of a cell membrane? Do you see how all of these are kind of connected, but they're different types of questions, as well as open-ended questions? Do you think, or why do you think understanding cells is important for understanding how life works? That's already a DOK level 3, because now you're analyzing what you have read to basically, with the standard, applying what you know to further your learning and analyze the context. So you have little things like that. Then if you click the Get the Student Activity button, you have different models. You have closed readings, you have vocabulary, you have sentence structures, good little science and literacy connections there, because we are a science literacy school system. And you just have a bunch of different things, especially with that critical thinking. When you're reading, you can compare and contrast. You can say, okay, what's the difference between a prokaryotic cell and a eukaryotic cell? That's something so simple with already a graphic organizer. This also helps with those students who have 504s and IEPs who need a graphic organizer, and it's already created for you. You don't have to create nothing else. All you have to do is print it out, give it to your students type of situation. And you have a plethora of things. You can make a Google form, you can print it out and save it as a PDF. Now, going back up here, my resources, I have a little sixth grade reading level. Let's say I need to. Oh, wait, did I press this? They give you the information where you got it from too, all that good stuff. So these are just like little things here. You can automatically, you can do videos. Oh, okay. Sorry. You can do videos. You can add your own text if you want to, generate it, make it a PDF. If you choose the approximate grade level that you would like, let's say I want that same topic, but I want it in third grade reading level. You can make it in a third grade reading level. I put sixth grade because that's the grade we teach, but it will generate that whole new thing and have the vocabulary terms and definitions for you readily available. So that is the program. I will give you, of course, the opportunity to play around with that and figure out kind of how you could apply that and use this into your classroom. As you see, we have an adaptive reading level is very similar, but not the same, less of those vocabulary terminologies that would be a little bit more like even to the point where they define the word replicate when that was not defined in the previous paragraph. So those little things like that. So let's go back here. So that's kind of the program that I researched. The reasoning behind me using this platform have some also put a video in here if you would like to watch for your leisure on how to actually use it. Again, you will have access to this presentation if you want to, understand how to actually access and differentiate specifically for your class. If you have any questions, it's a great resource. I watched the video, it was great. He explained it well. Now, according to the scholars, let me tell you why I decided to use DFID. I have like 3 reasonings behind that. The first reasoning is this quote: "It, meaning AI, can be used to support teachers as they design instruction assessments to meet the needs of all learners." That key part was why I picked, a specific AI based program, because you were saying you need to meet all learners. With AI, teachers can easily, hear that word easily, because we don't want to do a lot more than what we have to, seek ideas and inspirations and new ways to reach students. Even if you don't use that software, you have some type of idea to differentiate that instruction. You can assign that stuff into the lesson. The second reason, attending to students' readiness by using technology for differentiating instruction allows for academic growth. That's the main goal we're here for, is to grow our students instructionally and their conceptual understanding of science. And that's just good teaching practices. It also enlists the student motivation and enables teachers to attend to students' learning profiles in various ways so that the students can acquire knowledge in a variety of mediums. Not all students learn through writing notes. Some students learn through, watching a video. They have those excerpts there on that program. It also gives students the willingness to want to learn, because they're like, oh, I get to use my laptop. I get to, play a little game or something. They think it's a game, or use Google, but it's something that they can actually learn from through different ways. So I was like, okay, this program is on the money right now. Like we're learning it, we're understanding it's helpful for teachers. Teachers can use it easily. It provides different levels of understanding and different levels of learning. It also says teachers should present lessons in a variety of methods to allow students access to materials using those methods. Instructional strategies can include learning centers, graphic organizers, scaffolding, writing and reading, and tiered assignments. DFID provides tiered assignments because you can put it in different layers. It also provides, like I said, those graphic organizers, which top tier for students. I'm even going to use the program for my graphic organizers. Learning centers, you can do something like, all right, group 1, you're reading this. Group 2, you're answering the questions. Group 3, you're doing something totally different. So you have different opportunities to scaffold and provide those learning centers. And then, so this was a lot. I just want to hear a little bit about, how do you feel about the program? What are your feelings towards implementing this program? How do you see yourself using this program? Like, just,
Okay, so I'm interested. I think I actually heard of the program, but um, with all the things, yeah.
yeah.
Um, so implementation with the program in the classroom, I think will be pretty cool to see how it pans out as we're nearing the end of
Mhm.
the school year. And then in my current class setting, definitely like just what I saw when you were on the site using the program, very much like using the readings and then just
Mhm.
seeing what else that they have, trying to get in cross-curricular activity
Yes.
in there with the math and I'm saying math, science and ELA, and there probably could be something with math as well. So yeah, I think it looks pretty cool, looks pretty interesting, but I definitely would have to take some time to like play around with it to um see the best way for me and my
Mhm.
students to utilize it. But I think it'll be very beneficial in not having me doing 3, 4 lessons in
Of
one.
course, of course. No, I
Mm.
totally agree with that. Um, how upon using this program, how would you determine if the program was helpful? How would you determine if the program serves the purpose of addressing the area of differentiation? Like how, like looking to the future.
Honestly, I think it would depend on, the results from assessments.
Mhm.
I also, like getting feedback from my students.
Mhm.
I'll poll them and see how they feel about the activity or the lesson, whatnot like that, but, I mean, it is very simple. I would honestly just go for, um, the assessment and how well they performed after using the program.
Okay. I appreciate that. I can to assure you that I researched the program in like a couple of days, and it was easier for me to like access. So I do say the program is kind of a little bit easy to like navigate and stuff like that. So I'm really excited for you to use this program. We got this. Do you have any other questions?
I don't have any other questions.
Oh, those are my references. Well, thank you so very much, Miss McGill. I
You're
will be
so
sending you
welcome.
this presentation so you have access to it. And yeah, I hope this helps. If you need any assistance on how to implement this program in your classroom, I am here for you at any means necessary. Thank you. Have a wonderful
Okay,
day.
you too.
Bye.
Bye.